Hi everybody, so I'm sneaking out here into the backyard by the lantern to escape children and whatnot. Uh, so lanterns are awesome. I got my chair here. So I want to talk about an interesting video I saw, and I think this is going to help you ladies out a lot. It was a video where a guy goes around on a college campus interviewing college-age girls about various, what's known as the red pill philosophy. Red pill referring to that scene in the Matrix where you take the red pill or the blue pill, and the red pill you realize that the life you've been living is all wrong, right? General, how I feel about the red pill is I think it touches on a lot of truths, empirical truths. In other words, like you discover them to be true by practice. However, the problem with empirical data is that you only can come to conclusions based on what you experience between people. And so sort of while the experiences can be true, and you get the results that you're expecting, it's not necessarily indicative of the underlying mechanics of psychology. So I'll give a brief example of this, and that's with pickup arts. There's all of these dating books for men, YouTube channels for men, how to be more alpha, all this other alpha male bullshit. If you subscribe to alpha and beta male, just know that the actual scientist that coined the terms was using it to describe chimpanzees, and he was appalled whenever people took his chimpanzee example and applied it to humans. He was like, no, this is for chimps. Like, humans are completely different. But here we are, and so you have all these channels, and what they're doing is they're spreading additional confusion by making men believe that there is such a thing as an alpha male and a beta male. But I use the terms anyways because they're sort of semi-descriptive. Short answer is, if you want to be an alpha male, it's about two things: competence and confidence. In other words, knowing what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and being confident in yourself in doing those things. When you're competent and confident, then really nothing gets into your zone. Like, you're pretty much impervious, and you can just sort of just blaze through life like Neo in the Matrix, where at the end when he's fighting Agent Smith and he's like that, right? So anyways, now that we have all that out of the way, let me talk about this video. And I thought it was really interesting because I think it kind of sort of touches on something, and that was the red pill philosophy that the majority of men are invisible to women, and this majority of men are the nice guys, because women want men inevitably, they want very deeply to have partners who are powerful. And by power, it's not dominance, and it's not corruption. It's not having power over people, because that's corruption, that's tyranny, and those are not attractive qualities. But to have power means that, just like Neo, you're in the zone. You're Batman, right? You're Batman. You go out to whatever your purpose is in life, and you go out, and if your purpose is dressing like a bat, beating the shit out of bad people, then that's what you do. The Batman analogy works really well, because you, as a guy, you wake up out of the man cave, and you go out, and then you do whatever it is you do, and you do it well. And that tends to be the kind of guy women look for. Now, there is some truth, I think, in the 80-20 principle, and that's generally women are attracted to about 20% of the guys, and 80% of them end up in the friend zone. Now, this is just a rough estimate. There's no actual data or science behind this, but help me out here, ladies. You know what I'm talking about. You can see a guy who's physically attractive. He's got all the muscles and everything, and then whenever you meet him and he's super insecure, you're immediately turned off, right? Meanwhile, there are some ugly guys who are confident as hell, who get all the ladies. One of the what immediately comes to mind is Chris Farley, right? Chris Farley, whenever he did that sketch with Patrick Swayze, and they were both Chippendale dancers. And there's Patrick Swayze, all muscular, and he looked good. And then there's Chris Farley, also up there, balls out, confident as hell, ass crack showing on TV, doing his thing. That is an example of being in the zone. He's not physically a looker, but he's confident and he's competent. He knows how to act. Even though he doesn't have all the physical attributes. So they went around asking girls if they believed that this was true, and a lot of them did. And then they took it a step further, and they said, so with red pill philosophy, and this is again where I kind of sort of diverge from it a little bit. Red pill says you need to be the shit and act like the shit to get girls' attention. So you have to kind of be cocky. You have to kind of insult girls a little bit. You have to hurt their ego a little bit and insult them and show that you're not afraid of hurting their feelings. Blah blah blah. And some of that, there is some truth to that in practice. You have to not be. You can't have a scarcity mindset, when you're with girls. You have to be honest, and you have to, be honest. And not be scared of hurting her delicate real feelings and losing your girl, right? Because most girls are really just not that delicate. Some of them are. And those are definitely the girls you should avoid. But yeah, they asked girls if they thought this was pretty much true, and they all pretty much did agree. And then, they asked, should men, act like they're the shit, if they want to get a girl's attention. And a lot of girls were kind of like, yeah, but no. And all of this speaks volumes to a theory that I have. That I've mentioned in other videos, but I'm mentioning this again because I had a long comment diatribe with a viewer over this exact topic, and that is, there is a kind of guy out there who's historically not good with girls, wants to realize what it is he's doing wrong, goes out and reads a bunch of dating books, and all the dating books for guys are pretty much geared towards one thing: how to get laid. Man's not gonna buy a book on how to be a good friend zone friend. Nope. If a guy's gonna buy a book, it's gonna be, how to get in panties 101. I would buy it. I put that out there. A lot of these books are not what to do with it after you've caught it. What next? Okay, so now you like it. Now what? And the books really don't have an answer, because then they're like, well, just be yourself. Well, the problem is you weren't yourself. The problem is you were faking. You were pretending to be something else. Now you got a girl, and you like her. And now what? Don't know, right? And so this is where I think a lot of you ladies find yourself in trouble with a guy that you realize, and you think, man, this guy was really just a liar. He was just faking. He was just pretending. And you see through, you start seeing through the bullshit, and you find out that he's actually far more insecure than you initially thought. He's not as competent as you thought. He's not as confident. He's insecure. He's emotional. All these things. Part of it is it's not necessarily your fault judgment-wise, because there are these books. However, I want to tell you, ladies, read the books for men. Read them. There's a really good book called The Natural by Richard La Ruina. I love it because I think it's a single book that is by far the most effective book for men. In terms of being able to read a book and go from not getting second dates to getting laid on the first date. This book can take men directly to that level in no time flat. And that being said, it's also a really good book because it focuses on doing it the right way, how to develop yourself as a man. The term "the natural" is exactly that: how to become naturally attractive for all the right reasons, and how to develop yourself in those areas so that you are attractive. A lot of books don't do that. There's a lot of books out there that say, you know, how to make women obsess over you, and do this, and girls won't be able to stop thinking about you, and all these other hacky, gimmicky, bullshitty type things. Fucking dogs. But no, the natural, he identifies all the traits in men that women want. And you ladies know this. When words are very difficult to use for women when they start describing what you look for in a guy. Like, for you ladies watching, describe to me what you look for in a guy. Yeah, I'll wait. It's very difficult, and it usually sounds something like, "Ooh, I don't know. He needs to be tall." That's always the first one. Dark hair. Needs to, be nice, be a gentleman. And gentleman is this whole encompassing category of chivalry and shit. But it's hard. It's hard to put it into words. Why? Because there's two types of men women are typically attracted to. And one guy can never be both types. And so that's the problem. There's two types of men. And that's why women tend to focus on the 20% and ignore the 80%. And I'll finish this up with, for you ladies who are the 20%ers and the 10%ers and even the 5%ers, some of you ladies are really gorgeous and you have impeccable game. I understand that the higher up in the hierarchy of men that you date, the more disposable you are, because once you're in that 20%, 20+%, or higher up, once you start getting into this upper echelon of men, you're going to find yourself with more competition from the ladies. And as long as you know that, and you're aware of that, then you can, date accordingly. But for those of you that don't, that's what you're in for. Those guys have game. They do. And they can have another you. I mean, look at Leonardo DiCaprio. Every girlfriend he has makes her sign a contract, dumps them when they're 25. Over and over and over, every girlfriend he's had. They sign a contract that specifically avoids common law marriage and prenups and community assets and everything. He makes them sign contracts so that he's untouchable. And they date him till they're 25, and then they move on and they join the alumni association, right? So all that being said, ladies, when you start looking into that 20%, you're going to find guys who are trying to be better. They are trying to better themselves and trying to get into that space.
Night, Dad.
Good night. See you tomorrow. What was I saying? Yeah, you're going to run into these guys who are trying to do better, trying to better themselves. And they may not always be there. Some of them are just guys who did what they thought was best, and that's buy a book and read it. After all, it's a book. It's got to be worth something. So they read the book. They read the wrong book, and then make you think they're in that 20% when really they're not. So do yourselves a favor, ladies. Buy some of these books and read them, and then learn to identify the approaches that these books teach. They're all cookie cutters. They're all cookie cutters. So once you get that feel down, and once you've read a few books, you can even call the guys out and say, I see you read The Natural. It's a good book. Let's go. I'm out of time. Thank you very much. Please like, comment, or share, and I'll see you on the next video.